let's see, let's move on. I think we've gotten now to paragraph 13 in the written tutorial, which shows us how to lock layers. Now, this also works different in different versions. You can follow along in the written tutorial to see how to do it in version 3. In this version 6 that I'm working in right now, locking layers is almost not needed anymore, but we're going to go ahead and do it. If you hold down the control key and select the layers that you want to lock together, you can see now both of these are grayed out. This little chain icon has now become it's not grayed out anymore, it's become active, and I can hit this. You'll see the little chains appear on both of the layers, and these two layers are now locked together. And so if I've got my move tool active and I go out here, I can move both of these at the same time around my page. I'm going to hit undo so that those chains go away, and I'm going to show you, and most of the time I don't need to permanently lock those layers together. If I just hold down my control key and click on both layers so that they're together, I can temporarily have them locked together. I'm going to move this down here, and I've decided that I want to resize this photo, and now that they're temporarily locked together or permanently locked together, you can see that you can also resize them at the same time. Okay, let's move on to paragraph 14 in the written tutorial. Let's make some text. Let's go ahead and make our title. I'm going to click over here in the layers palette to have only one layer selected to remove that temporary lock. Here is our text tool, and if you activate your text tool, well, let's see, I gotta back up. I gotta follow my written tutorial. Here's the eyedropper tool, and I want my text to be the same color as one of the colors from my photo. So I'm going to activate the eyedropper tool, and you can see my mouse turns to a little eyedropper, and as I click around on my photo, you're going to see the foreground color change, and I'm going to click around until I find a color that I think I want for my text. How about this green? And that's one great way to be able to match for mats, the color of mats or text, so that things in your layout coordinate. Now I'm going to activate the text tool, and you'll see once I do that, up here at in the bar, there are options just as in Microsoft Word. I can choose various types of fonts. I can change the size. I can make it bold or not. This particular font doesn't allow me to do bold. And you can see here in the color, it's set to the color of my foreground color as the default. I'm going to click once out here on my desktop, and you'll see that a new layer for a text layer was automatically created when I did that. Now I'm going to type my title. Finders of Fierce Flesh-Eating Falcons F F F F. And you can see I had the center alignment set, so when I typed it, it centered it and went off the page. So I need to move this to where I want it on my layout. So I'm going to hit the Move tool, and you can see the bounding box comes around it just like it did in the photo, and I can move this over. I can also use that bounding box and resize the layout, the title. I can squish it and make it disproportionate. If I want, I can activate the text tool again. I'm going to click right out here in the middle to activate that layer again, and I can highlight it and change the size, or I can click up here to bring up the color picker to choose a new color for my text. You can make whatever changes you want. If I wanted it left aligned, I can do that while it's highlighted, or I can change the font. Right now I'm going to leave it as it is. And then here is the checkbox to commit my changes. We're going to move on to part 4 because this video's gotten long enough, and I'll see you around on the next video. Welcome to part 4 of this very long tutorial, but it's one of the most important tutorials, and I sure hope you are taking the time to learn each of these techniques and pause these videos and play with each technique as you're moving along, because the things that you learn here are things that you will be doing in almost every layout. We are on step 15 if you're following along in the written tutorial, and you'll see that during the break I went ahead and added a lot of journaling. Since the last video covered how to add text, I went ahead and did that for time saving. I also made another mat and I put it behind the text. I changed the text to white. That is a good contrast principle. You'll see, I'll go over that again. Activate the text layer, click once out here in your text anywhere, and that's going to activate that text box. Then you can highlight the entire text, go up to the color picker and pick a white, or you can hit this little drop down menu and choose a color out of this color palette. And here's a white, and accept that. You can also hit enter on the keyboard to accept things. It's always best to get in the habit of going back and hitting the move tool so that you don't accidentally do something out there on your layout that you don't want to do. That's just a good habit. Also, let me remind you, it's time to save.